Hi, I'm Mundo, your one and only man of world. You have sent in a load of questions, and that's really amazing. The problem is, each week we're just doing a few questions, so I mean it's really hard to pick the best ones and bring to you guys. But I mean, if you don't get your question answered, I mean, I don't want you to be discouraged because it's not. It's so hard to pick, and I want to tell you something, a little bit of what's going on behind the scenes and how the selecting process works. Essentially, we have all the questions posted up in a thread, so we see all your questions. But then the presenter of each week, the presenter decides, all right, these are the questions that I want to talk about. These are the questions that I feel I'm confident to answer and bring bring relevant discussion into and whatever. So you're gonna have a little bit of different kinds of questions each week. I mean, if you have people like Bastion or Malpamine doing the mailbag, well, you can have kind of boring questions. But if you have mailbags with me, you're gonna have interesting questions that talk about the nature of the Zelda series, gameplay, ideas for the future, fun and interesting stuff. If you send in a question that you thought was good and it doesn't get picked for the next mailbag, we might come back to it because I mean we have all the questions posted and we look back and say, oh, but this question back here was pretty good. We could take that in if the question this week were less good. That might happen. It may not happen. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little clue as to how we pick questions and what's going on behind the scenes. So with that said, let's do the mailbag. Our first question comes from Dylan, and he asks, would you like to see The Legend of Zelda to be in more of an open world, similar to the Elder Scrolls series, rather than the usual linear plot? Or will this take away too much from the story? Well, I think the Legend of Zelda could definitely be less linear. I mean, you just need to think back to the original Legend of Zelda, where, I mean, you could visit most of the overworld right from the start, and you could complete the dungeons in different orders. And I think that's something I'd like to see return. If, like I said, it's not like directly bound to the story, like you need to go here first and here first, because otherwise the story doesn't make sense. There was a game I played, Sonic and the Secret Rings, for the Wii, and it kind of was like that, where you could complete. You were collecting these rings, like super rings or something, and you could get them in any order, but there would still be cutscenes, like specific. So I would find the third ring first, and it was like, oh, here's another ring. I'm like, oh, but I haven't encountered another ring. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, another ring? And then I did like the fourth one. It's like, oh, here's yet another ring. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I went back and did the first world and gathered the first ring. It's like, what's that? It's glowing and it looks good. It's like, yeah, it's a ring. Anyway, back to the focus on Zelda and Elder Scrolls. See, when you say Elder Scrolls, I think more of like this huge open world where you can go anywhere and do anything. I mean, you can, just take off, kill some guy, steal his horse, and then you can just ride to like a little village and sell all the stuff you gathered and kill a chicken. I don't know, things like that. And I mean, Zelda isn't really about that kind of gameplay, that roaming style gameplay. I mean, I guess it could work, but it wouldn't really be Zelda. Not to me. This next question comes from 43. Is it just 43 or is part of the name missing? I don't know. It says 43 here, so let's just roll with it. In the Ocarina of Time manga, it is stated that the Sheikah symbol was once just an eye. The tear was added after the royal family of Hyrule betrayed them. I think it's the other way around, but whatever. But in Skyward Sword, Impa had the tear, before even the Kingdom of Hyrule was established. What the Ocarina of Time manga said is probably not true, but it still makes me wonder, has a big mistake been made because of that little piece of info? Yeah, the only mistake that's been made is the mangas not having a huge label on them that says not canon. Because people keep thinking they are, but they're not. I mean, see, what the Zelda mangas are is essentially a guy coming and saying, hey, we can make a Zelda manga, and this guy is pretty good, he's a good artist, he's a good story writer, and he can do it. And we can sell it, and we can make money. And they say, okay, cool. And the Zelda developers, like Miyamoto, Anuma, and those guys, they don't have anything to do with the manga. So, I mean, what the manga is, it's essentially fan fiction. Except, you know, it's good enough to be published. But it's still no more authentic than my Link x Waluigi romantic comedy.
Waluigi. Link.
Next question comes from Jonathan Skyward Pliskin, and he asks, "Hi, I have all the Legend of Zelda games." Congratulations. I was going to ask, what do you think about the Minish Cap and the Oracle games, knowing that Capcom made these, and if you like these games compared to Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass? I think Capcom has proved that they can make great Zelda games. The Minish Cap is like my favorite 2D Zelda game. It's up there with Spirit Tracks. I mean, that game's just fantastic. But I'm not sure if I would call Spirit Tracks a strictly 2D game because it uses some 3D elements. And you know, the Minish Cap has a certain charm to it. You know, with the sprites and you know, the old school music and all that good stuff that I like. So yeah, I mean, if Capcom makes another Zelda game, I mean, I'll be all for it. Great. I mean, the notion that Nintendo is always the best choice to make games based on their characters, I mean, it's right most of the time. Because Nintendo rarely screw up. But there are other teams that are fit to make those kinds of games. And we have seen other studios taking famous gaming icons and making games that are just as good, if not better, than Nintendo's games. Wait, not that one. The next question is from Lucky Mikey J, and he asks, would you like to see a Zelda game in the future that uses a supporting cast of characters who aid Link on his journey in both story and gameplay? I'm talking about a cast similar to the end of Twilight Princess, where Russell and his team of adventurers infiltrate Hyrule Castle from the ground, while Link goes and saves Princess Zelda. I understand that The Legend of Zelda is a single-player game focused on Link's quest to save the princess, and I think it would be nice details if Link made some friends on the way who aid him on his journey more than once in a story. I don't know if you can or not, that's why I'm asking. Yeah, I mean, sure it's possible. I mean, just look at Four Swords Adventures. I mean, it's a game where you cooperate, you essentially have a party, and you go around and solve puzzles and kill loads of enemies, and it feels very much like a Zelda game, even though it's 4-player. And it doesn't have to be 4 Links. I mean, you can have Link and Tetra and Tingle and and someone else who's weird. Hero Shape. That would be fun to play. So yeah, I mean, and we have talked about this in the past. We've talked about the Wii U being a good console for a Four Swords game. That's in one of our past podcasts, and I will link to it down below. Final question this week comes from Pau. And Pau asks, hello, I have 2 questions. Cool. First, I have an Ocarina of Time's replica, but I don't know how to play it. I know that there's a lot of tutorials and stuff on the internet, but those videos are for people who can read Ocarina notes. So the thing is, I just want to know if you guys know a tutorial for beginners, something like Ocarina's Music for Dummies. Is there any chance that you share it with us? Yeah, I have one of these too. Looks like this, plays like this. And yeah, I'm incompetent when it comes to reading music and stuff. I'm like, piano notes, what's this? What's an octave? What's riff, chords? I don't know what those kind of stuff are. I just want to play. But yeah, let's see what I can do. I have, this is the music that I use. And I have notes like these. This is what they look like. This is a Song of Storms. And I'm guessing this is something that you want if you can't read notes like me. And it's just, I mean, it's essentially black and white holes. You have the ocarina here, and you have black holes for where your fingers are supposed to be. The only thing with this is, I mean, you have to know how long to hold each note. But I mean, you know the Song of Storms, so. Alright, you want to see me play Song of Storms? You can play Song of Storms. It will go so-so, because this song is kind of difficult. I think, at least. Yeah, those two last notes, they're wrong in this cheat. But yeah, there is a site that I use where you can convert other notes, like if you have the notes like, you know, the A, G, B, C, the letters. If you have those notes, you can convert them to these. So there's a link on that below. But yeah, I mean, Ocarina stuff. I guess I'm not a pro really at it, but I mean I can play this. I can play pretty well, and I have a couple songs here that I found. So I mean, if you would like to see, I don't know, maybe I could put up something on the site where, you know, I do a little walkthrough and talk about, I don't know, how you play it and where you get the stuff and how you get started. If you would like to see stuff like that, leave a comment and maybe it'll happen. Who knows? The second question from Pau was, are you single? I think this question was directed at Bastian specifically, so I feel kind of weird answering.
Well, why don't you go on a date with me? Wow, Luigi, number one.
The tier was added after the royal family. Let's do this again. Has a big I think Capcom has proved that they can make great Zelda games. I suck at this.